The following program is sponsored by friends and partners of Kingdom Connection.
Approximately 430 rockets towards Israel.
A major barrage of rockets coming out of Gaza.
Last hour, 2 rockets were fired from the Gaza Strip into
this morning after some 700 rockets were fired from the Gaza Strip towards Israel. Deadliest recorded eruption of violence.
In the nation of Israel, militant rocket attacks like these are a weekly occurrence and a constant threat. Each year, thousands of missiles are fired into cities, neighborhoods, and schools. In the areas closest to the Gaza Strip, families have just 15 seconds warning before the rockets strike. Imagine the fear and anxiety of trying to live in those circumstances. In Eshkol, the Israeli region closest to the Gaza Strip, the rate of post-traumatic stress disorder among young children is almost 97%.
Well, we're here in Eshkol, the region of Eshkol, and it is a place that a lot of activity happens here, a lot of intense rocket fire. Give us your name, please.
My name is Michal Uziau, and I'm a proud mother that lives here in our communities on the border with Gaza.
How many children do you raise here in a war zone, basically?
My own children are 3, but we have thousands of children here. We have over 3,500 children that are raised under the age of 18 in our communities, and I'm proud to say that we continue to grow and bring more children and new families that are joining us.
Why would you want to raise your children in an area like this that we in America, we see on the news constantly? At times there are hundreds of rockets that are shot at the very cities in this region where you live, where you raise your children. Why do you feel such a deep conviction that it's important that you live in this region?
So first I will say that I'm proud and I feel privileged. Yeah. Despite all the challenges that you described, and I can share with you many tough moments that we had with the children, with rockets and with the fires and the terror tunnels that we need to face, but I feel fortunate to live in Israel today and not 80 years ago in Europe. I feel fortunate that I live in a country that is a democratic country, and I have an army that is doing everything that they could possibly do to defend our people. And we're strong, and we will continue to be strong, and I'm lucky. Wow. I can hug my children at night. I know that I have a country that is taking care of us, and I'm fortunate.
Behind me is a bomb shelter that if the sirens go off or the signals go off, you would run for that. Your family, you would take your children into that.
We have 15 seconds where we live. You know, as when I became a mother, it was just after the disengagement. We used to have Jewish communities in Israel, the Gush Katif, in Gaza, the Gaza Strip. And Israel in 2005 decided to disengage. I was a young mother then for my daughter. I was almost giving birth to my twin boys. And I remember that I really thought that taking out our Jewish communities from Gaza was the right thing for us to do. We really believed, I personally believed, that peace is around the corner if we will just take out our Jewish communities from Gaza. And then in 2005, when Israel had the disengagement, we woke up to a new reality. The reality that we became, just like the people of Gush Katif that suffered every day from terror, we became the next frontier of Israel. And step by step, you grow up into this 15 seconds reality, as I told you a moment ago. The 15 seconds means that whenever someone shoots a rocket, we have 15 seconds to run for our life. And it's the same 15 seconds if it's a Holocaust survivor that is 90 years old. It's 15 seconds when it's a baby, and if I'm taking a shower and I need to run and grab my children and run into the shelter, it's always these 15 seconds. But step by step, we learned how to do the best in this crazy reality, to be grateful for what we have, and to continue to invest in life, in education, in loving our children, not to hate the other side, but still to be strong and to be proud that we are fortunate to live here.
So let me ask you this. How important would a trauma center for children, a place where children could play, that had walls that were solidified enough that it could withstand attacks? And we're talking about a trauma center that's needed in this region, and you know about it. Tell us how important that would be as a mother for your children, for other hundreds and hundreds of families that are around here. And then I love the aspect of, in this trauma center, you would bring in, there are hundreds of Holocaust survivors that live in this region. But they would come together, the young and the old, and the young children that have been traumatized by the constant barrage of missile fire and explosions and death. And yet they could sit and talk to Holocaust survivors and hear their stories and realize the same God that got them through the darkest hours that they faced is with you now. What would that mean to you as a mother to have a trauma center like that in this area?
So first I have to say that you hear the drone now. We're in between sessions. We just had an emergency a couple of weeks ago, with more than 170 rockets fell only in our region. And we already know that the next round of escalation is around the corner. We are facing the summer, and it's every several weeks. This is what we call the emergency routine. Emergency routine means that you constantly know that the next emergency is around the corner, and every day we still have fires every day. We still have, once in a while, infiltrations, riots on the border on Fridays, which means that the community who lives here constantly live day by day. It's not emergency, and it's not routine like you live in the United States. It's what we call the emergency routine. For children that lives constantly under this emergency routine, for me as a parent, that I already know that I need to prepare to the next escalation, it means that we live through a lot of stress day by day. Having a safe haven for children to play and to interact and to create things together is therapeutical. We have our amazing therapy people that constantly create new programs. We found that being in a safe environment and playing and creating and interacting, also intergenerational interaction, gives a lot of strength because it gives you perspective. It reminds you why this is home. And this is home. We want to raise our children, the bottom line, we want to raise our children to be happy people, positive people. And we are trying constantly to create the tools to give them all the best infrastructure to become good and positive human beings.
So when these attacks happen, at times they just come day after day after day after day. We're not talking about just, occasionally. Yeah. But this is what you're describing is a lifestyle. It's just part of living in this area. So to have a trauma center for children and for Holocaust survivors or the elderly in this region would be tremendous, I think, because it would bring that healing that is needed because of the bombs that have hit. They've heard them, they've seen the effect. The post-traumatic stress that they suffer from is very real. Mm-hmm. And there's help and there's things that we can do in this shelter or center that can make a real difference in children's lives and in families.
Absolutely. We call it, we don't say post-traumatic because it's not post, it's something that we live every day. Wow. We call it ongoing trauma. And we try not to focus in the trauma. We try to focus on resiliency, how it's like a muscle. If you want to be fitted, you need to work in the gym and work on your muscles. If we want to go through emergency, you have to train your muscles of resiliency, how you can become stronger and stronger. And I have to say, we understand that one of the most important resources for someone to go through a traumatic moment is to know that we are not alone. To know that we have one another, to know that we have friends across the ocean that take care of us. And it brings you a lot of strength. We belong to a beautiful, amazing community. Communities that, you know what, despite all the challenges, we continue to grow. Since 2014, we have 2,500 new residents in Eshkol. We have new babies, and we're strong, and we are proud, and we're here to stay.
And you're not alone, because you do have friends, and we're excited about the trauma center and being a part of what God is doing. And you know, that scripture in Isaiah 40, comfort ye, my people. We believe as Christians that God blesses our nation, America, because we comfort His people. We comfort these precious families that are living basically in a war zone. And you just heard one of the greatest explanations that you could ever hear of why she will not flee. This is a mother. This is not just a woman standing here, but she has children, and she loves her children just as much as you love your children. And yet God has called them to live here, called them to stand and defend the land. And there's something powerful about that you and I can come into covenant. I like that word. And say to the nation of Israel and the people of Israel, like we've done with the Holocaust survivor centers that we built in Jerusalem and that we built in other areas of this nation, but we can do something unique that, quite frankly, I don't know of any other ministry doing what we're talking about doing, and that is comforting God's people, building a trauma center with bomb shelters that will be a safe haven, as she just described, for people to run to. He that dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge. And 1,000 may fall at my right side, 10,000 at my left, Psalms 91. And He'll give His angels charge over us to keep us. But we've got to do what we can do. And we've got to comfort the people. And I'm asking you today to pray and to believe and to give, to build this center, this amazing ministry that will take place to precious families right here in the nation of Israel. Thank you. Thank you so much, and thank you for sharing your story today. It's truly remarkable. God bless you.
Each year, thousands of missiles are fired onto the cities, neighborhoods, and schools across Israel. And in Eshkol, families have just 15 seconds warning before the rockets strike. Fear and anxiety grip all generations, but the rate of PTSD among young children is almost 97%. Now we have a unique opportunity to help those experiencing the most danger and trauma. We believe God is calling us to build the Eshkol Region Trauma Center. Here, residents will receive counseling from trained therapists in a reinforced building, safe from rocket fire. It will also serve as an indoor community center, allowing children to play in safety and elderly Holocaust survivors to spend their days building the faith of the next generation. With your gift of $61 to provide comfort to our Jewish brothers and sisters, we will send you the Blessing of Israel gift set. For your gift of $161, you'll receive the gift set along with a beautiful olive wood flask with anointing oil from the Holy Land. Or for your generous gift of $1,000 or more, request the Covenant Keeper Collection, including a Yeshua Hebrew necklace, a personalized Hebrew name certificate, and your name inscribed on the Comfort My People Wall of Recognition in Eshkol. Join us as together we fulfill biblical prophecy by bringing comfort to the nation of Israel. Call the number on the screen right now or visit us online today.
So I'm standing here in the Eshkol region, and I'm delighted today to have a man that is very known in this area. And tell us your name, sir.
My name is Keith Ilan Isaacson. I'm the head of security of the Eshkol region.
And you're you have seen just about everything in this region. You need security, desperate for security in this region, right?
Well, yes, also as a civilian, I've been living here for the last 45 years, and also as a officer, I'm a lieutenant colonel in the Gaza division. So I have both, also the army way of seeing things and also the civilian way of seeing things. And that's why I'm doing this job at the moment, to combine and connect the army to the civilian population, because of what's been happening here in the last 18 years. And so it's so sensitive that the connection also has to be very intimate connection, which is not something very simple. Army and civilians putting it together, living together with a mutual idea.
Being constantly prepared for war, being constantly prepared for terrorists. They build tunnels. From a distance is the Gaza Strip. Hezbollah is there. And they will send terrorists through tunnels. They will send, kind of describe for people what it's like raising your family right here in this region.
Well, first of all, I'll explain just in a few sentences. First of all, I'm not going 18 years back. I'm just going the last year and a half. Yes. We've already found 9 offensive tunnels just in the Eshkol region. Eshkol region is 60% of the envelope, what we call the envelope of Gaza. So 9 offensive tunnels. So the tunnels, that one of the tunnels was over 1 kilometer, 500 meters inside Israel, 1 mile. Inside.
Down deep?
No. From inside.
Okay.
Down deep, 30, 40 meters below ground. These are all offensive tunnels. These are all concrete tunnels, concrete slabs, arches, everything. These are not smuggling tunnels. These are tunnels that there's a special unit in Gaza that the idea is to come out, attack, slaughter. But the main thing is to kidnap, because every living or dead soldier or civilian, Israel, we can see, and we've seen it in the past, is prepared to pay a high price. And the most of them that leave are released are back in doing terrorism acts. So first of all, I have 2 sets of twins. 2 of them are in the army at the moment. 2 of them have finished the army. It's been hasn't been easy. It's been very interesting. Because I'm a security officer, I think we all deal in security in my house. And my son is also an infantry soldier. But I remember when you're small, he had anxiety attacks. My daughter, until the age of 16, wanted to sleep with us in bed. Every time they heard a noise, straight away into the bomb shelter. Sometimes after a couple of years, you forget it. But the problem is, to forget trauma, it takes about 5 years. And yeah, there's never a 5-year period. It's always constantly. Just in the last year and a half, we've had 16 different escalations. I'm just talking about the year and a half. So if peace would ever come, it will take another 5 years to get everyone straightened up. But we never get those 5 years.
So a trauma center in this area would be a tremendous benefit, not only to soldiers, but to families, to children. What you're describing is a crisis in families and children, and it would be easy to uproot and to move more inland to Jerusalem, to some other place, but you're not going to do that. You've been here 47 years defending this land, you and your family. That's remarkable.
True. First of all, you said all about the trauma and everything, but the most important thing is we are here. We are not moving 1 centimeter. We're not going to move. This is our land. If anyone's going to move, it will be the other side. They only have one choice. They have 2 choices, either go to the sea or go into Egypt. Egypt is also Arab country. The Sinai, it's empty. Let them go. But into Israel, they're not gonna come, and we're not gonna move. I think this area and also the areas on the Lebanese border, and we are the Iron Dome.
Yes.
of the country. Yes. You know, you have the Iron Dome against the missiles. Right. I say we as civilians are the Iron Dome for the heart of Israel. The heart of Israel is Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, Ashdod, Haifa. Wow. So we are the Iron Dome, and if it wasn't for us, there wouldn't be a country at this size.
It's the front line. This is the front line of the very heartbeat of the nation of Israel. And so, you know, this is really moving to me as someone who's been coming to Israel for decades now and has a great love for Israel. And we've been honored to partner with many great projects, Holocaust Survivor Center and so on. But to me, this project maybe is the most important and needed project that we've ever been involved in. And I'm speaking to a military leader here who has seen war, who has seen the horrors of war, and is raising his family basically in a combat zone, and he represents thousands of men and women serving in the military right here every day. Do you believe that the trauma center can make a difference in families and lives and children's lives?
First of all, definitely, and we've proven that these trauma centers have proven themselves. Up to 40% of our civilians are getting help. Help is a big word, but we need these trauma centers also to come and calm down. Sometimes the help is individually, sometimes the help is a family help with a psychologist and things like that, and that's these trauma.
And it really is a form of comfort. It really is. It brings comfort emotionally, spiritually, you know, even domestically, a comfort to the families that have maybe lost a home, they were telling us earlier today, you know, that this very field was set on fire just a year ago. This is somebody's income. This is somebody's livelihood. This is somebody's way of living. It's for generations maybe. And all they do is will float over on a balloon. Kind of describe that.
The balloon, it started with kites about a year and 3 months ago. Regular kites, you know, with string and kites. And then they used to attach some charcoal, burning charcoal, something like that, and get to the fields and start burning them. When they realized that the army's got solutions, they started doing with balloons. The problem with balloons, regular balloons that you use for birthday balloons, that the balloons, because of the wind goes from west to east, the balloons go high up, a kilometer, and then they started adding a couple of balloons, 4, 5, 10 balloons, and then they started either attaching hand grenades or cocktail bottles, yes, or different kind of things. And they used to come and fall. Wherever they fell, it started a fire. And then they improved with the hand grenades, and then they started going over the kibbutzim and moshavim, exploding. And they're getting better and better all the time. It's very primitive because the tunnel issue is going to, we are putting a lot of effort to demolish all the tunnels. So they spent tens of millions of dollars. So instead of using that money for building and education, they built these tunnels that cost millions and tens and tens of millions of dollars, all concrete tunnels. So
to kill, steal, and destroy.
Yes.
The money being used to kill, steal, and destroy. And if you look, within eyesight behind me is the Gaza Strip, is Hezbollah, the area that they control. There are no doubt terrorists. There are no doubt killers. That, as he's describing, they build tunnels that found one that came a mile in to Israel land, kidnapping, killing, maiming, destroying people's lives. And our dream now is to comfort God's people, to come into this area that is a war zone and comfort God's people. And we know that there's a blessing that God said in Genesis 12 through 14, that if you bless Israel, I'll bless you. If you curse Israel, you'll be cursed. And this is a ministry that believes in blessing Israel. And our dream is to build this trauma center right here in the middle of all of these brave, courageous, Jewish people who are defending their homeland, land that, by the way, Amos 9 said God gave them this land, and he says in the last few verses of Amos 9, I'll put them in the land and they will never be taken out. And what you're hearing in this man and others is that very spirit of courage that says, I could go somewhere else, I could live somewhere else, I could do something else that would be much safer, but I have decided to stand and defend this land. And you and I are going to stand with them. And our call is from Isaiah 40. Comfort my people, support my people, stand with my people, help them in every way you can help them. We're going to build these bomb shelters. We're going to build this trauma center right in the heart of this and minister to families and comfort God's people. I want to thank you for who you are and what you do, and I know you represent so many here today, and you're not alone, sir. There are people who are praying for you and in tangible ways. You know, it may seem like a small thing that we can do this, but I learned a long time ago we can't do everything, but we can do something. And we want you to know that you're not alone in the battle that you fight, and the way that you're raising your family is being noticed by millions and millions of Christians in America.
First of all, thank you very much, and I know, and it gives us the backing, the support, especially people like you and this administration, yes, that has really given us the energy to continue. You know, people say that there's no solution. There is a solution, and it takes exactly 5 minutes. That the Hamas, the Hezbollah, and the Jihad put down their weapons, yes, and
come to the table. And we're going to stand with Israel. Thank you, sir. God bless you.
Each year, thousands of missiles are fired onto the cities, neighborhoods, and schools across Israel. And in Eshkol, families have just 15 seconds warning before the rockets strike. Fear and anxiety grip all generations, but the rate of PTSD among young children is almost 97%. Now we have a unique opportunity to help those experiencing the most danger and trauma. We believe God is calling us to build the Eshkol Region Trauma Center. Here, residents will receive counseling from trained therapists in a reinforced building, safe from rocket fire. It will also serve as an indoor community center, allowing children to play in safety and elderly Holocaust survivors to spend their days building the faith of the next generation. With your gift of $61 to provide comfort to our Jewish brothers and sisters, we will send you the Blessing of Israel gift set. For your gift of $161, you'll receive the gift set along with a beautiful olive wood flask with anointing oil from the Holy Land. Or for your generous gift of $1,000 or more, request the Covenant Keeper Collection, including a Yeshua Hebrew necklace, a personalized Hebrew name certificate, and your name inscribed on the Comfort My People Wall of Recognition in Eshkol. Join us as together we fulfill biblical prophecy by bringing comfort to the nation of Israel. Visit us online today.